Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and today with my Ficus Benjamina that I'm basically training right now to become a bonsai. So it is in the pre-bonsai stage. I do a lot of testing with this one because ficus in general are very forgiving, so you can really test a lot with them, experiment a lot with them, try different things, like for example here with aerial roots that I will get to in a second. So definitely if you have a ficus, do try to test a bit with it. It is definitely something that pays off. As I mentioned, I did a lot of testing on this one with aerial roots. I have another video in which I showed how I actually encouraged it to grow those aerial roots with the plastic bag method. So do check out that video also if you're interested in that. And I want to give you a quick update on how the aerial roots are developing. I did not cut back any of them up to this point. Basically, some of them, as this one for example, they didn't reach the ground fully, so they are actually kind of dry and brittle. I'm not sure if I would put them into the ground, if they would then still continue to grow. So I'm keeping them on at the moment, but there are other ones that are basically very much established already. Let me show you here in the back especially, or actually what I consider the front of the tree. There are quite a lot of aerial roots like this one right here in front that is actually growing thicker and thicker over the last couple of weeks and months. Also this one here that shoots out basically from the fork right here is very thick already, is really establishing itself quite nicely. And you have some here that didn't reach the ground fully, but I think maybe if they get still going, and I might actually put this one under plastic bag again, then that they might continue to grow and actually intertwine with this one here. So that would look really nice. When we look at the foliage, actually what I did a couple of weeks ago is cut it back. It did grow a lot in winter, so I actually, removed, I would say, 1/3 of the foliage at that point. Didn't prune it back too harshly, just basically a lot of the winter growth with leaves that were a bit bigger than I actually tend to like on my Ficus Benjamina. But all in all, actually left quite a lot of the foliage on. As you can see, it is basically wired in the lower quarter basically quite extensively, and a bit basically the main trunk also up there. What I have not done yet is really wire out all the branches basically. That is something that I'm planning to do after the growth season, when it has a lot of new growth. Then basically the branches will be also a bit more established, and then I really try to also the side branches really wire them in the way that I would like to have them. But up to this point, I'm quite happy with it. As I said, it is a lot of experimenting basically with this one. So especially the aerial roots are something that I will continue to look further into. I'm really a fan of how well it worked actually the first time. So probably now in spring, I will put it again under the plastic bag. It also actually helped the foliage really a lot. It really encouraged it to throw out a lot of very healthy growth, a lot of healthy leaves actually, because simply what you do is you mimic an environment that is almost like the optimum for a ficus. So definitely you could see it like a little spa treat actually for your plant that it really enjoys, and it really encourages to grow in a very healthy way. So probably the next step for this one is going back under a plastic bag with a lot of humidity, also a lot of warmth basically in there to encourage it to grow. Hopefully shooting out more aerial roots, and also further developing the ones that are still there. I do think they can actually develop further because they are not dry. So they're not brittle when I touch them. So they do seem like they're just waiting for another basically more humid season to continue to grow into the soil. Basically after that, what I'm planning to do is to repot it. Right now I show you I still have it in a training pot. I will move it to a more shallow pot probably by the end of the summer, simply because sooner or later I also have to figure out what to do with the roots. As you can probably guess, the roots here will be growing quite deep, and of course I need them more shallow if I ever want to put it in an actual bonsai pot. So we'll move it gradually into more and more shallow pots over the next couple of years. But yeah, I hope this gave you just a little bit of an update on how this Ficus Benjamina is doing. Also my plans for it in the next couple of months and years. Just let me give you a bit of a look on it again from all different angles. As I said, this is probably more the back that I will envision as the back for the tree, even though it's still quite open, so I'm actually not quite sure yet what will be the final back and front. As it is still a training tree, of course, there's a lot of things that can happen in the meantime that will affect the decision on what will be the back and the front in the end. So I hope you got a nice overview of it, also of the aerial roots here in the back. I hope they're quite visible on the video, but I think they should come out quite nicely. If you have any questions about this tree and about the things that I'm planning to do with it, of course, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will answer them as soon as I see them, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye.